Hello, my name is Heather Butts with Learn for Life Consulting, and this is part 4 in our 5-part college preparation series, so we're almost done. This one's pretty important, especially for young people and their families who are juniors and seniors, because the college visit can potentially be very instrumental in the college application process if done correctly. So we're going to talk today about how to correctly proceed with a college visit, what you can get out of the college visit, and we're going to do some exercises and then take some questions. Okay, so for the college visit, remember, you have to get the most out of the visit. You just don't want to go on a tour and an information session and leave. So whenever I talk to students and they say something to me, as, for example, I ask them, have you ever gone to college visits? Yeah, I've been to 45 college visits. Really? Yeah, I do 2 or 3 college visits a day. Right off the bat, I know that something is amiss. They're not doing college visits the way you should do college visits. Why do we do college visits? So I'm going to ask this of people who are on. Why do we do college visits? And let's see what we get in the chat area. Okay, to learn more about colleges, to find out how the food is. That's true. We're going to get to that. That's true. To learn more about the colleges, to go on a tour. Okay. All right. These are all correct. But actually, so far, from what I've seen in the chat area, the comment that is most pertinent for our purposes today is actually the food one. And what we're going to talk about is not only what you can get out of the visit in terms of learning about a school, but also how you can make the visit work for you. And I pick up the food comment because one of the things you want to do is to try and see if you can go to a dining hall. Not so much to check out the food. I mean, that's important. You want to know how the food is. But also so you can get to talk with some students on campus. That is critical, not only to your learning more about the school, but also being more aware about what's happening there and making your presence known, and we're going to talk about that. Okay, also, you may have an interview while on campus, so we're going to review the interview process because that may actually happen. College visit, more tips. You want to check out the campus on your own. So obviously, you know, the tour and the information session are staples of the college visit. But in addition to that, you don't just want to go to a college, do the tour, do the information session, go home. You want to check out the campus, see how it is, move around a little bit. And that's going to take time. So you want to have enough time, in addition to the other things we're going to talk about that you should do, you want to have enough time to actually go on campus, take a tour, take a visit, and do your own tour, separate from the official tour. You'll learn a lot by doing that. Eating in the dining hall. So the comment about food is important. If you can eat in a dining hall and speak with other students on campus, that is fantastic. It gives you a wealth of knowledge, and we're going to discuss what questions to ask of a student on campus if you are so lucky to get the opportunity to eat in a dining hall. Take lots of notes. So things may seem crystal clear to you when you're actually on campus, and then a couple of days fade. Maybe you do a couple more visits. It starts to get a little murky. So you want to take notes and compare those notes to notes from other schools, and then make your final decision. And if you can do a sleepover weekend, this is fantastic. You know, you want to talk with lots of students while you do that, but if you can link that up, you will be the better because of it. All right, so I want to ask you, when you go to visit a school, who do you think you should try to see while on campus? Ask that of the chat. Okay, admissions, dining hall. Yeah, now you know. Admission. Okay. All right, so we're going to talk about it because there's quite a few people you should try to see. And I usually recommend that you allot anywhere from 5 to 6 hours for a college visit. Now, that seems like a lot of time, and we're going to talk about what you're going to do at that time. But as you can tell, if you're allotting that amount of time to a visit, and it's probably a good bet that you're not going to be applying to 30 or 40 schools. So this goes back to what we've talked about before in terms of managing your own expectations with respect to the number of schools you apply to and doing it properly. Right, so questions to ask when you visit a school. You can ask these questions of individuals during the tour, financial aid, admissions, professors who you meet, and we're going to talk about that. I should stop here for a moment and just talk to you about what a true college visit will look like, or should look like, ideally. And I'll do it in terms of a timeline of a day. So you arrive on campus around 9:30. Give yourself a little time to wander around, check it out. Maybe the information session's at 10. Information sessions from 10 to 11. Then you go on a tour. Tours from 11:30 to 12:30. You go to the dining hall. You eat lunch with your family, and you get to talk with students. 12:30 to 1:30. You meet with admissions. 1:30 to 2. You meet with financial aid. 2 to 2:30. You meet with a faculty member. Maybe 3 to 3:30. You sit in on a class. 4:30 to 6:30. 4 to 6, something like that. That's a full day. That's actually closer to 8 hours, isn't it? Right. That's the ideal. Now, obviously, some of these things are not going to happen on every visit. You may not be able to meet with a faculty member or sit in on a class. It may not work out that way in terms of timing, or admissions may be not available. You might not be able to eat in the dining hall. But that is the ideal. That is the ideal for a college visit. Okay, so obviously when you're meeting with all these people, you should have questions. So we're going to run down questions that you should think about having for each of these different visits. So these are questions you can ask of, admissions, professors, pretty much anybody. How much time do students typically spend on homework? What are writing and reading expectations? Average class size. How widely used are teaching assistants? This is critical. If you're going to go to a school and teaching assistants are the norm, you want to know that. What's the average class size of upper division courses? So obviously your intro courses are usually going to be just larger just because they are. But if you're hearing, upper division courses topping out at 500-600 people, that might be an issue for you. Opportunities for undergraduate research. This is particularly important for our pre-med friends. A culminating senior year experience. I think you all know I went to Princeton undergrad, and as a senior, you had to write a senior thesis. This is something you might want to know about. Is there an honors college? Do you have a learning community or other freshman experience? All questions you could certainly ask. Now, if you get to meet with financial aid, some questions you might want to ask are, what's the average financial aid package? What's the typical breakdown of loans versus grants? If the typical financial aid package for a $50,000 tuition school is $45,000, woo, that's great. But if the typical loan breakdown is $44,000, that's not so great. So you want to know how much are the average financial aid packages, loans versus grants versus scholarships? What percentage of financial need does the school typically meet? Your need may be different than what the school can actually accommodate, so you want to know that. What are the average merit awards? So even if your family doesn't meet the expectations in terms of financial aid for need, you might be able to get a merit scholarship, a merit award. So you want to find out about that. Percentage of students that receive college grants. So again, you want to know the grant versus loan versus scholarship breakdown.